Hello, 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 hi. It always feels so much weirder, so much more weird when I do my intro in a soft spoken voice. It just doesn't feel right. Um, but my hair is probably up against the mic. I just filmed not one, but two uh, ASMR videos where I was whispering, so I figured that I should do a soft spoken video. So I'm going to do a quick story time video today. I can see a sparkle on my mouth. That's weird. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, I thought that I would kind of tell my story a little bit of how I ended up moving from the East Coast to the Midwest. So I cannot remember if I've told this story before or what I've mentioned, what I haven't, because I do definitely try to be a little bit more cautious talking about where I am and where I'm from, all that sort of thing. Wow, here comes a train. It's been a while since. I shouldn't say that. There was probably a train in my last video, but yeah. So I thought that I would tell the story of how I moved from the East Coast to the Midwest. That is not very riveting, but I just kind of figured it would be something for me to ramble on about. So here I am. Basically, I grew up on Northeast. I won't go into too much more detail than that, but yeah, I grew up on the Northeast, born and raised. I was always, well, for starters, I was attached to my mom from a very young age. I didn't want to be away from her. As I got older, that wasn't a problem. I'm just trying to set up. Basically, when I was ready for college, I had no interest in moving away. I had no interest in going out, being on my own. The idea of a roommate sounded like torture to me. I had no interest. I don't want to live with somebody else that's messy. I don't want to have to, I just was not, I wasn't ready, honestly. I wasn't ready to move out. So I did go to college in the Northeast, and I commuted. There was a college that was a short drive away from my house, so I did. I'm sorry, I'm playing with my hair and whatever. But yeah, I ended up commuting to college for 4 years, and then I got my degree. I got my degree in business management, basically because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And in some ways, I regret even going to college because, quite frankly, I haven't applied it to any of my jobs. I'm sure that it helped me get the job, but anyway, that's a side tangent. But yeah, so I was never quite ready to leave the nest, if you will. But I was, oh gosh, how old was I? I was about 24, and I was seeing someone who I thought for sure that was it. Like, he was the one. And looking back, I know it's because I had a 6-year relationship that was awful. He cheated on me basically the entire time. I didn't know until the last year, but or not last year, but until we broke up. But yeah, so going from that to this next boyfriend, he was a knight in shining armor. He paid for my dinner. I mean, honestly, it was the bare minimum. I'm not. He's a wonderful man, but it was the bare minimum. But to me, it seemed magical. Like, I thought for sure that was it. I'm done. I'm ready to get hitched, get on with life together. And one day he took me to dinner, brought me back to his house, and said, "I'm not happy." So, yeah, that it came out of nowhere, at least for me, and I was heartbroken, and that led to a very dark road for me, and after about a year, I was feeling like I have to get out of here. I have to see something else, anything else different. I need a different experience. At this point in my life, I was ready to have a new experience, go live somewhere I'd never been. I was so ready for it at this point. Maybe I was running, but it was so needed. It was so needed to get out of there. I was never going to break out of my shell being in the situation that I was in. I was safe. I lived with my mom. It was just me and my mom. And it was not I was not in any kind of danger. I just was in such a place of comfort that I wasn't going to go out, put myself out there, meet new people. I wasn't going to challenge myself in this situation that I was in. So I was talking to my aunt, who she is married to a man who is from the Midwest, and I was talking to her about this desire to move somewhere I'd never been, experience something different. And she said, "Well, nobody knows this yet, but I think that, let's call him Joe. Joe and I are going to be moving back to the Midwest." And I said, "Psh, I'm coming with you." And I visited, and for a long weekend I came out and I visited, and we went to the lake. I don't know that I'd ever been in a lake before. And it was just so different. They're just cornfields everywhere. It's a slower pace. And so about a month or two later, I packed up all my things and I moved out here. And for a while, I stayed with my aunt, and I'm grateful for that. I had a safety net. I didn't find a job. I knew what I was about to do, and I saved up all the money that I could. I anticipated that I wouldn't have a job for like a month. I figured I would take a month off, regroup. Oh, so not only was I heartbroken at the time, well, I guess at that point I was getting over it, but I was so miserable in my job. And there's nothing like being so miserable 40 hours a week. It was not healthy. So, oh gosh, that was such a nice feeling to quit that job. Oh man. If you've ever quit a job, especially a job that you aren't happy at, oh man, such a good feeling. But yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard to leave my family. One of my family members didn't talk to me for a while because she was so angry that I was leaving. It was so hard. My mom felt it the most because, again, I was living with her. So, and we're very close. So for me to up and leave was really difficult for both of us. But I will say I'm so proud of myself for doing that, even though it was hard. Yeah, and then honestly, I ended up not having a job for 6 months. So at first, I was like, "Ooh, this is great," and then I wasn't miserable, but it was tough. I was applying places, and I regret not just getting a job literally anywhere, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever, grocery store. I should have just, because my big fear, like I said, I left a job that I hated, so I was so dead set on trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing here on this earth, you know? So I was being very picky about the job that I would take, and eventually, actually, the company that I'm still with reached out to me about a position, and I ended up getting that job, and it all worked out. It all works out in the end. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a great experience. I've met a lot of people. I've done a lot of things that I never, like I said, I never would have done. I joined a Zumba class. I was really fortunate because when I did get my new job, or my job here, the position that I was taking, she was moving up, that person was moving up in the company, and her and I just absolutely hit it off. And so she's actually still one of my closest friends here, but yeah, so she would take me to events and showed me around town, and it was so nice because I still had that safety net of my family being nearby. My aunt was nearby, but it was a new place. I was putting myself out there, and yeah. So that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to touch on there. A lot of people asked me why in the world I left where I left to come move to where I am now. And you know what? I loved the different scenery. I had been in New England for all of my life, so it's just a totally different world out here in the Midwest. It's so flat. And people would say that, I'm like, yeah, okay, but when I moved here, like, wow, it is so flat out here. You can see for miles. Yeah. I slightly regret not moving. Once I visited Utah, and absolutely loved Utah. Part of me regrets not moving there because, well, for one, the weather is much, I don't want to say nicer, but in the Midwest where I'm at, we still get a ton of snow. I shouldn't say a ton, but it still gets cold. We still have all the seasons in their fullest, and I think that I would always want all the seasons. However, if winter could be a little bit more mild, that would be wonderful. But yeah, that is everything that I wanted to go over with you guys, or wanted to go over. I sound like I'm ending a meeting here. Yeah, I just kind of figured I'd go through my story. I'm sure that I could dive deeper into certain things, but my mind is kind of blanking. I feel really hungry all of a sudden. So I think I'm going to go get myself something to eat. I hope that you enjoyed listening. I hope that the soft-spoken, I've been holding the mic here this whole time, and hopefully I am not screaming in your ears. I'm going to watch back and we'll see. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're doing so well. And I hope you're healthy and you're safe in all the wonderful things. And I will see you in the next video.